All right, so let's get back to the review thingy that we're doing, and in this case, I'm going to compare Experimental Frenzy to Future Sight, and then move on to the green cards for Guild of Ravnica. So, um, in the case of Future Sight, you play with the top card of your library revealed, and you may play the top card. And so the game you want to play is you want to hit your land drops out of Future Sight, and that way you're kind of unpopping the top of your deck, so you can keep playing those cards. So you're going to use a lot of cards that allow you to draw like just one card, and that way you keep popping cards out of the top of your library. You can, if you've got, like I know in this deck that I used to play that had Devotion to Green or Devotion to Blue, I had both. I could play like 5 or 6 cards a turn off the top of my deck with Future Sight. I was ramping with green, so I would start doing it on turn 4. And I also had Devotion, which meant that I could even do it on turn 3 sometimes to drop this thing, because if I had Devotion to Blue, I would do it, and then Future Sight would give me Devotion to Blue. Now let's go over to Experimental Frenzy. So it's a 4-drop. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. So you're not playing. No, actually, you are. You may play the top of your library. You may play the top card. It's not revealed. You're looking at it, so your opponent cannot see it. But you cannot play cards from your hand. And after you're done doing whatever trick you wanted to do with Experimental Frenzy, for the same casting cost, you whack it. You destroy it. It's different. It also is powerful, in my opinion. So you're going to keep looking at the top of your library. You're not looking any deeper. So with Future Sight, as you pop things out of your library, you can keep seeing, and you are playing with the top of your library revealed. In this case, you look at the top of your library. You have a way of playing it. You play it. Then I think you can continue to look at the top of your library. It's just that you cannot play anything from your hand. So that means that you've got to have a deck that's very different to the one that you'd have with Future Sight. You have a deck that really, you get to the point where you have the mana, but you don't have anything in your hand. And then it doesn't really matter, and you're in red anyways. So I really like Experimental Frenzy. I can't wait to play it. I hope it's a junk rare, because then I can rent the pixels online and get a playset and just go wild. I love it. So let's go down to the green cards now. These are some of the common ones. So the Ceratok, 4/4/3 vanilla, fine. Okapi, 3/3/2, otherwise a vanilla, but it's got vigilance. And Urban Utopia is one of your mana enhancers enchantments. So you enchant a land, you draw a card when it enters the battlefield. That's already really, really good in my opinion. And then when you tap that land, you add 1 mana of any color. You're already adding the mana that that land gives you anyways. And it's 1 mana of any color. That means that Urban Utopia is the kind of card, especially in Constructed, but also in Limited Sealed, Draft or Sealed, where you can splash for a 3rd, even a 4th color. And that's something that's going to be interesting in Limited, Sealed, Constructed, any format with Guild of Ravnica cards, because in my opinion, Golgari and Demir are coming in with great synergy. I may find some synergy between the other 3 guilds. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't really gone in detail into the Boros cards. I did go through Celestia, and I was not impressed, I must admit. I'm not a fan of Converge. I'm just saying that, and it's going to come out when I talk about Celestia and my little look through the set. I wouldn't even dare call it a review, because I'm just a nobody. But yeah, add 1 mana of any color. Yeah, it's good. Prey Upon, it's a reprint. It's one of these fight cards. I'm sure they're going to be good and limited. Yeah, that's all it is. It's a good fight card. Then Divine is a 1/0/3 defender, Arcadis deck. Tap it for 2, sack a creature with defender. So, and you draw a card. It doesn't have to be this critter. You can have a whole deck with defender. You sack your other defenders to draw a card, and you don't want to waste this one. So you'd want to have other defender cards that don't have a cost. And there's a bunch of defender cards in standard that are just like otherwise vanilla critters. So it wouldn't be this card that I would sack after paying 2. It'd be something else. The Beetle, which I really like the artwork. I don't know why. I just like the way it looks. It looks pretty cool in my opinion. 2/1/1 enters the battlefield. Put a counter on target creature. It doesn't have to be this creature. It can be something that has flying or reach. If you're in a mono green, yeah, it's all right. It'll be good enough in some decks. Recluse 3/1/4 Fat Butt Reach. Okay, in limited, but it doesn't hit that hard. It only hits for 1. So it's a very defensive card. I normally would shy away from it in any deck. Might of the Masses 1-drop instant. Target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each creature you control. Again, I've played a lot of decks with maximizing the number of creatures business. I have found them to be very fickle. I mean, a board wipe in a go wide for each creature deck can mean the end of the game. After that, you'll never recover because all of your cards give you some kind of bonus for you controlling a lot of creatures. And so I view those decks as very fickle, and I'm not a huge fan of this. I wouldn't mind something like you draw a card for each creature you control. That's fine, because even if you only have 2 creatures, you're going to draw 2 cards. But these effects of like, you get a little something for each creature you control, it's alright, but it's a very fickle strategy in my opinion. Sundew, 2-drop, another defender, another wall. It's got reach. It doesn't have flying, but it's got reach, and that's pretty good. That's better than just defender. 0/4. It's got one of these battle cruiser added costs that have become very popular, where it's like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. You do something. I mean, it's really a good idea to completely ignore these clauses. When in the world are you going to do that? Anyways, it's on the card. It can protect itself because if you can drop all of 5 mana on it, it gains indestructible. But why would you? Why would you make a 2/0/4 wall with reach indestructible for 5 instead of doing something else for 5? I do a lot of other things for 5 mana. It wouldn't be protecting this dude. I'm saying. The guide, it's an elf. I love elves. There's an elf deck that will get bigger and better and more fun, at least in casual, just out of standard. And I am planning to build a bunch of commander decks only with the cards in standard. That's my challenge to myself as a peasant. I was having I got a comment that I answered multiple ways with one of the viewers, and I thank his comment for watching my video about, hey, how come you're building a knight deck and you have hardly any knights? And I go, the whole point of what I'm building is I'm building commander decks out of cards that are readily available and cheap right now, because that really lowers the cost of your commander deck. The whole point, and again, I'm sorry I'm going on a complete total tangent from discussing Guilds of Ravnica, but a card like the Guide, which is an elf, is a good example of what I'm getting at. That there's all these fun decks that you can build right now only with standard cards for Commander that are going to be cheap as could be. And that's what I like about Commander. I do not want to build a $500 Commander deck ever in my entire life. I'm not going to do that. If I build a deck, I'm a cheapo peasant, it's going to be a $50 deck. And with your current cards, you can do that. Moving on, rant over. 3-drop 2/2 is the elf. And gives you a land when it enters the battlefield or a gate card. Yeah, that's really nice. I love to play this type of card. There's a whole bunch of them in Magic. I love the fact that this specific one is an elf, because I really want to build a bunch of elf decks and goblin decks. The Root, sorcery, 4-drop, gets you 2 basic lands and or gate cards. I like it. I like all these get 2 lands for 4 in green. Yeah, that's solid. The Guide and the Route, Circuitous Route, it's a great title. Impossible to pronounce by this little peasant here. Then the Stray, it's a 3/1/2. Draws you a card when it enters the battlefield. That is fantastic. Draw a card. Enough said. I love it. It's common. You're going to use it in limited most of the time. It's not even a bear. because it's a 3/1/2, but it draws you a card, man. That ain't bad. Then the Dissident 2/2/2, a bear. I hate these battle cruiser staple costs. I don't know why I waste my time reading them. For all of 5 mana, you can give it +2/+2. That is so lame. I'm sorry. Moving on. Canopy. So for 2 normally with Plummet, you can destroy target creature with flying for 2. And then for 2 with Naturalize, you can destroy target artifact or enchantment, I think. So this is for 3. You get a little bit of both. That's not bad. I mean, in Battle Cruiser, it's not bad. The other cards, I would be more inclined to put them in because they're going in my curve at 2, even if I only get one of the 2 choices. But this one's good. I mean, I think it's very interesting to combine one of the 2 things that Naturalize can do, and then a Plummet. I like it. The Indrik is a beast, 6-drop, 4/4. Enters the battlefield. It does a fight trick. It's okay in limited, I'm sure. The Pelt Collector, you're 1/1/1 rare. It's an elf. I really like that already. The dude is my friend already. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, if the power is greater than this dude, put a +1/+1 on counter. So you're limited in what you're doing. It's a lot like Evolve in Simic when it came out. I think Simic was in Gatecrash and not in Return to Ravnica. Yeah, I seem to remember being in Gatecrash. It's kind of interesting because if we play a few examples, you play this dude on turn 1. On turn 2, you're going to play something with more power. So it's going to be let's just say it's a 2/2/2. Comes in, this guy becomes a 2/2. Well, you can no longer play bears to boost this. Then you got to wait till you play a 3 something. Then this becomes a 3/3, and so on. But then now, once you've done this for a bunch of other creatures, then it's got trample. I found the similar ability, which is Evolve. I found it to be really good early game. I thought it was great. I don't know. I like it. I think it's a good card. The Whisperer is a 4/2/3. And whenever you cast a creature spell, you draw a card. Man, am I in love with that clause. I mean, that is an awesome clause. And it's an elf. And it comes in early. I mean, you're in green. So really, when I look at a green card, I take, and I'm not trying to get into the United States through immigration, which is another story altogether. But when I look at this green card, I think, okay, that's a 3-drop. It's not really a 4-drop. I'm going to be dropping a bunch of Llanowar Elves. I'm going to be dropping extra lands. I'm going to be doing all the great tricks that green can give you in Magic. And so this is really a 3/2/3 with that clause. I mean, this card is, in my opinion, really, really good. Of course, I'm a casual peasant, but that's my opinion if you are willing to take it. The Revival is a 5-drop sorcery. Return up to 3 target multicolored cards from your graveyard to your hand. I would definitely use this card in the Muldrotha Dimir plus Golgari deck that I want to build. I really, and God willing, I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it. Muldrotha with maybe only Guilds of Ravnica just for kicks. And this card's going to be in it for sure because it's commander, so 5-drop in green. It's kind of like a 4-drop. Great. Bounty of Might. I did not show a card just like this one from Ravnica 1 in Celestia. It's a lighter card, but it only does it with a +1/+1. And so this is a similar card to that one, except this one is Battle Cruiser costed, and it gives +3/+3. It's kind of like a nice overrun. It only costs you 6. So with overrun, you got to do more, I think. I don't remember the exact card. I think it's good. I mean, it's an instant. Yeah. I mean, it's going to cost you a lot of mana, but you're in green. So it's really, yeah, it's good. I'll take it. The 4/6/6 hexproof, and you're gonna want it. You're gonna want it in almost a creature only deck. That would be fun. It's a mythic rare. Don't see it being more than a junk mythic rare. I've been wrong before. I'm one of the dudes who was saying Etherworks Marvel was difficult to set up. What the hell do I know? But this one has a really cool clause because for 2 you can make it lose all abilities. It goes vanilla on you, and any player may activate it. So if somebody wants to take it out, they pay 2. It's a vanilla, kill it. So it does not protect itself as well as it should for a mythic, and that's why I believe it's going to be a junk mythic. So if it's discarded, if an opponent makes you discard it, goes on the battlefield, that's really nice. But it's a glass cannon for sure, because somebody's always going to have 2 mana to kill it, the extra 2 mana. So yeah. Okay, so now we're on to the artifacts, and that means that we're near the end of this glorious non-guild review of Guilds of Ravnica, all the non-guild aligned cards. I already mentioned Chromatic Lantern, the X-Spell Chamber Sentry. Each color of mana spent on it, so it can be as much as 5. So you pay 5 different colors and you get a 5/5. Most of the time you're going to play 2 colors and you're going to get a bear. And then for an X, but that X is different from the X you've spent to cast it, even though it's on the same card, so that's confusing. So the X that's on the card is when you cast it. So now your X of casting it was 2. It's going to be 2 most of the time. So it's your bear, it's a creature, a construct. And then say you have 3 mana next turn. Yeah, so no, that's not that good. That's not that good. That isn't. Because, yeah, even if you dropped it for 3, you're going to be killing it to get the 3 back. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe this card will go in a 5-color deck that will be built either in the next set or in the 3rd set of Guilds of Ravnica block. You know, the 3rd Break the World with maybe, I don't know, Bolas comes back and does things that Bolas do or something. It looks like a setup card for something that's going to happen later. Right now, it kind of reads lame because we're not really in a format that has enough mana where 5 colors are easy. Then the Gargoyle is a 6/3/3 flyer. And it's part of the gate deck. I like that. I want to build that gate deck so bad. By the time it comes in, I would play like all gates in that deck. Yeah, hopefully there won't be an anti-gate card. So I would have all gates. So, you know, you're going to control 6 gates. Yeah. Let's just say you control 4. Just keep it at that. This thing comes in as a 6/7/7 flyer. Yeah, I'm with the Gargoyle. He's my buddy. Glaive of the Guild Pact. Your equipment 2-drop. Equip 3. It's a little heavy, but it gets +1/+0 for each gate you control and has Vigilance and Menace. I'm loving the gate deck. I'm definitely planning to build it. This equipment will be a beast in that deck. It's got a little bit of a heavy equip cost, but it's low casting. And if you own 4 gates, it's going to give +4/+0. Vigilance and Menace. I think that's great. The Monument is a 4/0/0 Trampler. And it'll become a 4/3/3 when it enters the battlefield. And then when you cast a multicolor spell, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's solid. It already started as a 4/3/3 Trampler. Yeah, you just want to be able to have a lot of low casting multicolored card. It's spell, not when you cast a multicolored creature. It's spell. I can totally see being able to ramp this thing back pretty good. So 3 fantastic artifacts in a row. I'm loving them all. And of course, if you count Chromatic Lantern, that's 5. I mean, I'm sorry, that's 4. 4. Can you even count? Silent Dart. Yeah, it's all right. 4 for 3. You get that out of red all the time, but it's limited. You're gonna put it in limited. You need some removal for creatures in limited. This will go in. I mean, if you were unlucky in your seal pull and you pull 3 of these, I put them all in. They're removal. They count. Wonder Vertebrate, last artifact card, I think. Yeah. Um, it's for self-mill strategies when you tap it, and then you recover cards from your graveyard into your library. I don't know. I was mentioning that with a previous card before. A lot of cards in Golgari want to give you a bonus for the number of creatures you control that are in your graveyard, that you have in your graveyard. So this card goes against that. So I think this card is better for something else and not for anything where you're going to get a bonus for the number of creatures you have in your graveyard. It is still, I think, a really good artifact. I love it. I even love the artwork. I mean, who cares what I think, but that's my opinion. The gates are coming back. That's wonderful. I would have liked something other than the Shocklands just because I'm ready for a completely new cycle of rare lands. But maybe Wizards has gone through every single rare land anybody could ever invent and they've run out of ideas, number 1. And number 2, Shocklands sell packs. They're still selling the mountain as tall as Kilimanjaro of cards that was printed for Ravnica 2. There's still thousands and thousands of booster boxes of RTR and Gatecrash out there. And of course, 3 billion of Dragon's Maze. So you can still pull a bunch of Shocklands out of cheap packs at Target that are in those little plastic boxes that are the cubes that I've opened in my channel. But you know, Shockland is a Shockland. It's great. It's fine. The Plaza is a lot like a similar card in Ravnica 2. The name escapes me. You gotta pay 1 so that it doesn't die when it comes in. And it's good mana mana stabilization for multiple colors. Great for splashing. Not great on your first turn. You don't want to draw it on your first turn. Still good. Guild Mage's Forum, standard thing in every one of these large sets of putting a rare land. Of course, Cavern of Souls is the only one I think in recent memory that became nuts because it allowed your creatures to be not counterable when they landed. This one is just mana stabilization. So for 1 and you tap it, add 1 mana of any color. If it's been a multi-colored creatures, that creature gets a +1/+1 counter when it enters. That's good. I'll take the counters. I'm not going to complain about it. And I believe we are done. Yes, we are.